Tell the king, Adéyẹmí is coming 12th, not as a curse, but as destiny.
They called her cursed, born with one eye shut, thrown from the palace, left to suffer. But destiny cannot be buried. Adéyẹmí rose from exile, trained by the spirits, and returned not as a victim, but as the first woman to rule rùnlọ. What they rejected became the gift that saved the kingdom. Welcome to Ife Ancestral Tales. This is Legend of the One-Eyed Princess.
Long ago in the golden kingdom of Oromloyi, the morning dew clung to the grass like tiny beads of silver. The sky was hushed, holding its breath, and even the birds that usually filled dawn with song sat in silence on the tree branches. Inside the palace, the cry of childbirth rose. Queen Morenike, the king's most beloved wife, gripped the raffia mat. Her wrapper was damp with sweat, her breath heavy. The midwives fanned her with palm fronds, murmuring prayers.
She will be strong.
Spirits of our mothers, guide this child safely. Ancestors, open the path. At last, a newborn's cry broke the silence. A baby girl. The midwife held her up, the firelight dancing across her tiny face. One eye shone bright and open like polished ebony, but the other remained shut, as if refusing the world. A murmur rippled through the room. Hey, one eye closed? This is not good. Oromloye has never seen such a child. Surely it is a curse. The whispers crawled through the palace like ants on spilled honey. The king entered swiftly, his face glowing with joy. But the moment his eyes fell on the baby, his smile faltered. He turned to Morenike, whose weary face still shone with motherly pride and fear. She is beautiful, Morenike whispered, pulling her close. Her name shall be Adéyẹmí. The crown befits me. The king's heart battled between love and law, but unknown to him, envy had already been stirring outside those walls. Morenike's co-wives, jealous of her favored place in the king's heart, had crept into the hut of a feared native doctor only days before. The old man's voice rasped like dry leaves. This child that comes will be mighty. Her destiny is sharp like a spear. You cannot kill her. The spirits forbid it. But if you wish to dim her light, you may wound it. Greed and jealousy clouded their hearts, and so when the baby arrived, they struck her innocent eye with a secret charm, not out of mercy, but envy. When the truth spread, the king called the elders hoping for mercy, but tradition bound his hands. The law is the law, the elders intoned gravely. A flawed child cannot remain in the palace. The king wept. His tears dropped like rain onto the baby's wrappings. Yet the voice of tradition thundered louder than the voice of love. And so, with sorrow deep as the ocean, he sent Queen Morenike and her newborn daughter away, far from the palace to the lonely edge of the forest. Life outside the palace was harsh. Their hut leaked during the rains, the winds whistled through the cracks, and hunger often gnawed their bellies. As they walked along the dusty paths, villagers pointed, whispering, "Look, it is the queen who bore a cursed child." But see the baby, one eye closed forever. Yet little Adéyẹmí rarely wept for long. Her laughter came quickly like sunlight after a storm, and her mother clung to that joy like a drowning woman clings to driftwood. As the seasons passed, Adéyẹmí began to grow. She was curious, playful, and strangely wise for her age. She could sense when her mother was sad and would place her tiny hands on Morenike's face, saying, "Smile, Mama. I see light, even when others see only darkness." But one night, when Morenike was too weak to even weep, the fire in their hut flickered strangely. The wind bent the trees in reverence. From the shadows stepped a tall figure, his eyes glowing like embers, his feet never touching the earth. "Adéyẹmí," he called softly, his voice deep as distant drums. The child stilled. Her one bright eye widened. "I am your guardian," the spirit said, kneeling before her. "Your pain is not a curse. It is preparation." From that night onward, Adéyẹmí's secret training began. The spirit taught her which leaves cooled fever, which roots drove out poison, which herbs could heal wounds. He placed a carved wooden staff in her hands and guided her. "Strike not with anger, but with purpose. Move like the wind, strong yet unseen. Learn when to heal and when to fight." Adéyẹmí listened with a heart both gentle and fierce. With only one eye, she began to see truth hidden from people with two, the intentions in people's voices, the lies behind their smiles, and the quiet footsteps of spirits in the forest. Meanwhile, back in the palace, the jealous wives bore sons, handsome as young lions, strong in body, but their hearts were hard as stone. Their footsteps were heavy with arrogance, and already the seeds of trouble had been sown. They talk to people anyhow, take what does not belong to them. If you complain, their mothers will come for you. Their father could not control them. Their mothers could not control them. The elders could not control them. They do whatever they like.
Years passed, and Adéyẹmí grew like a tree, rooted in both earth and spirit. The forest became her classroom. She knew the songs of the birds, the secrets of the rivers, and the whispers of the wind. When she ground leaves into medicine, the herbs seemed to listen to her hands. When she raised her staff, even the tall trees seemed to sway in respect. Her guardian spirit guided her with patience and wisdom. "Strength is not only in the arm," he would remind her, his glowing eyes steady. "It is also in the heart that knows when to heal and when to fight." Far away in the palace of rùnlọ, darkness crept like a shadow at noon. The king, once strong as the iroko tree, now bent like dry bamboo. His breath grew shallow, his voice often weak. His two sons, the pride of the jealous wives, had become thorns in the kingdom. They raided traders on the highways, seizing goods with laughter. They mocked the elders in public gatherings, ignoring the wisdom of gray hairs. At festivals, they strutted like peacocks, yet their hearts were empty. The people whispered in the market, "Can these princes ever lead us? Better we have no sons at all than rulers who drink palm wine while the land suffers." The king's heart was heavy. One evening, as the moon rose over the palace courtyard, he groaned from his sickbed. "Where did I go wrong? My children, my kingdom!" The council of elders gathered,
their walking sticks thumping on the ground like slow thunder. Their eyes met in silence. At last, they sought the village herbalist, a man whose cowries spoke with the tongues of ancestors. In a small hut perfumed with burning herbs, the cowries clattered onto the mat. The old man's eyes rolled back, and his voice deepened, carrying the weight of spirits. The seed of jealousy has poisoned the house. The daughter once rejected must return. Only her presence will heal the throne. The word struck the elders like lightning. A daughter? The daughter? The truth they had ignored for years came alive again. Back in the palace, the jealous wives trembled, their lips dry with fear. They whispered in secret chambers, "If Adéyẹmí returns, we are finished." Their sons, anger blazing in their eyes, pounded their fists on the ground. "She must not set foot here. If she does, the throne will slip from our hands." So they wove a dark plot. When the elders, carrying palm leaves of peace, set out to fetch Adéyẹmí and her mother, shadows moved behind them. Assassins with painted faces crept through the tall grass, their blades sharp, their hearts darker than night. But Adéyẹmí was no helpless child of yesterday. The forest itself warned her. The rustling leaves whispered of danger. She lifted her staff, eyes narrowing. When the attackers leapt from the shadows, their war cries sharp as spears, Adéyẹmí moved like wind across water. Her staff struck with the swiftness of lightning. Herbs she had prepared burned in clay pots, their smoke rising like angry spirits, choking the assassin's lungs. One dropped his blade coughing, another stumbled back, eyes wide with fear. "This is no ordinary woman!" he shouted. "Run!" cried another, his legs trembling. So they fled into the dark, their weapons heavy with shame. The elders stood frozen, their mouths open in awe. Adéyẹmí lowered her staff, her single bright eye glowing. She spoke calmly, her voice firm. "Return to the king. Tell him Adéyẹmí is coming, not as a curse, but as destiny." The forest grew quiet again, as if even the spirits bowed to her words.
Tell the king, Adéyẹmí is coming swift, not as a curse, but as destiny.
At last, Adéyẹmí stepped into the palace she had left as a wailing infant. Her sandaled feet touched the marble stones of the courtyard, and the air itself seemed to bow in reverence. A hush swept the crowd. Whispers rose like ripples on water. Is this the child we cast away? See how she walks, not like one returning in shame, but like one born to rule. Her single eye sees farther than both of ours together. The palace drummers struck their talking drums in salute. The daughter returns, the crown returns, destiny returns. On the royal stool, the king sat bent and frail, his skin pale, his staff shaking in his hand. But when his dim eyes fell upon Adéyẹmí, strength surged through his veins. His back straightened and his chest rose with life. "My daughter," his voice cracked, heavy with regret and longing. "Forgive me." Adéyẹmí walked forward slowly, her mother by her side. She knelt before him and placed her hand over his trembling fingers. Her voice was steady, yet tender. "Father, you obeyed the law of men, but today we obey the law of destiny. Let the past rest in its grave. A new dawn has arisen." The crowd was silent, as if even the air wanted to hear every word. But in the shadows of the courtyard, the jealous wives' hearts beat fast. Their silks rustled as they bent close to their sons. If she rises, we fall, one hissed. Desperation guided their hands. Their sons, faces hard as stone, slipped poison into the king's wine. A servant raised the calabash to present it, but before it reached the king's lips, the wind rose suddenly, strong, wild, carrying the voices of the ancestors. Palm leaves scattered through the courtyard, drums rolled by themselves, and the calabash slipped from the servant's hand. It shattered on the marble floor, the bitter smell of poison rising into the air. The people gasped. The elders thumped their staffs on the ground like thunder. One elder raised his voice. The ancestors have spoken. This land shall not be defiled by wickedness today. The jealous wives and their sons fell to their knees, trembling. Their faces burned with shame before the eyes of the kingdom. The crowd roared in anger, but the elders lifted their hands for silence. With solemn dignity, they brought forth the royal crown, heavy with gold, bright with cowries, and rich with the sweat of generations. Before the entire kingdom, they lowered it gently onto Adéyẹmí's braided hair. The moment the crown touched her braided hair, a great light burst from the sky. Thunder rolled, though no storm clouds were seen. Birds circled high above in joyous song. Adéyẹmí's closed eye fluttered open, clear, radiant, and bright as the morning sun. Gasps and cries of wonder swept across the courtyard. Women undulated in triumph. Children clapped. Men beat their chests with pride. The king rose to his feet, his sickness gone like smoke in the wind. His voice rang with renewed strength. The throne is restored. The kingdom has found its healer. The princes, once proud and cruel, were dragged before the people. Their wickedness and trickery lay bare like footprints in wet sand. Some called for punishment, others for exile, but Adéyẹmí raised her hand. No, she declared. A ruler does not repay evil with evil, but with justice. Let their names be remembered not for power, but for warning, for envy digs a pit, but falls inside it itself. The crowd erupted in cheers, hailing her wisdom. That day, history was rewritten. For the first time, a woman ruled Oruluoye, not by accident, but by destiny. Adéyẹmí, the rejected child, rose as queen, healer, and protector of her people. Her first decree was simple yet powerful. Let there be peace upon our roads. Let no traitor be harmed. Let no widow cry in hunger. Let no child be mocked for what makes them different. From today, every soul in Oruluonen shall walk in dignity. And from that day forward, the eye they had tried to close became the very eye through which the ancestors watched over the land, ensuring justice, mercy, and truth. Envy may seek to wound destiny, but no hand can cover the light chosen by the ancestors. What is cast aside by men may be the very treasure that saves the land.
They called her cursed, yet the ancestors called her chosen. The eye they tried to close became the very light that guided a kingdom. Adéyẹmí's throne was not a gift of men, but the victory of patience, spirit, and destiny fulfilled. Remember this, traveler. What the world rejects, the heavens may crown. Thank you for walking this path with us. If this story awakened your spirit, subscribe, like, and ring the bell so the next tale finds you before the drums fade into silence.